about to give them what they want. I don't think they're ready for this though. Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode.
What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. Chris Jones, representing Pump Chasers. So guys, I'm about to go kill these legs. I'm dressed for the gym. You know, we keeping it whole ready for the summer. All right. I'm getting my drink ready. I got some beetroot up in here. This is a natural nitrate, guys. This is gonna help you get that pumped. I'm gonna do a half a scoop of Pump and Grind pre-workout, and I'm gonna do 2 scoops of these BCAAs. This is my drink for the gym. It's gonna have me on a different level. It's gonna have me on a vibe, okay? And before I go to the gym, I got me a smoothie. Guys, GAF Wade will be returning very soon, okay? Sorry for the delay, but that's just more motivation for you to get 30 of them bitches when they're back in stock, because you know this shit sells fast. So I wanna talk to you guys real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and get my drink ready, get everything together, put the camera down, and have a word with you guys. Fam, so here it is. I got my smoothies. Sweet tooth. This, guys, if you never got GAF Wade, treat yourself, stop cheating yourself. It's coming soon, all right? So guys, you gotta keep in mind, I chop it up quite a bit with people in my DMs. It really stimulates my brain. You know, it helps get those juices flowing, get those neurons firing. And I just come up with ideas like today. I wanna talk to you guys. 4 things you need to stop doing when you're cutting. When you're on a cutting mission, take it serious, because when you take it serious, you're more effective, and every week counts. How many of you guys know people personally that's been cutting off and on forever? You still never seen these people super lean. You still never seen these guys ripped. You've never seen them with a solid 6-pack, because they're not taking it serious. I guarantee you, take that same person and you tell them, I give you $100,000 cash. I'll give you $100,000 cash to get to 12% body fat or lower. I guarantee you, excuses will go away, because they now have a different source of energy attached to this shit. There is a lot of power behind financial sources of motivation. Alright, so the point I'm trying to make is, guys, take this shit serious when you're cutting, to make every week count, and most of all, to ensure that you finish something that you start. Because nothing will frustrate you more than doing something for several weeks and you're still not where you want to be or need to be. So let me give you 4 things you need to stop doing. Number 1, letting the scale frustrate you. Now, I know this shit from experience and dealing with several clients, okay? It's a terrible feeling, right? To diet all week, you say no to the cheat meals, you do your cardio when you don't want to, you feel your strength going down a little bit because you're in your cut, and then you get on the scale day after day, you write your weigh-ins down, and you really haven't lost much of anything, if not anything at all, that whole week. It instantly makes you feel like you've wasted a whole week. You know, it can really frustrate you to the point where you start having these voices in your head. I used to call them hippie voices till I started getting into the hippie shit. I used to call them hippie voices. You gotta keep in mind, guys, when it comes to consciousness, consciousness is energy. And energy works both ways. You know, you're gonna have that lower nature and you're gonna have that higher self. And when you're frustrated, when you're feeling down, you know, when you're weary-minded, that is when the gates open, and that's when those negative voices get in your head. You start having voices like, what's the point of cutting anyway? I'm already lean enough. Voices in your head trying to talk you out of your goals. Or my favorite one, I think you might need a cheat meal. Your metabolism is probably adapting, and you need a cheat meal to fire things up, to start things up. Feelings of frustration will invite those negative voices to come in, and since you have those feelings of frustration in, it has a charge to connect to. You know, you have these voices, and these negative feelings are gonna give those voices the charge. Next thing you know, you're at McDonald's. Next thing you know, you're at a buffet. You know, so try to keep a positive mindset. Don't let the scale frustrate you. You need to stay logical as possible, which is why you need to write things down. Or I'm sure there's apps on the phone. I'm old school. Writing shit down or using an Excel sheet. You know, I'm really simple, but write your weigh-ins down every day. Track what you're eating every day. Track how much cardio you're doing every day. Right? And when you get your weigh-ins after a whole week and you ain't really lost much of anything, don't get emotional about it. Don't get frustrated about it. You know, don't beat yourself up about it. It's obvious that these numbers are no longer enough. These numbers are no longer serving you, and it's time to make adjustments. Okay? Stay focused, stay positive, and don't get frustrated, because like I just said, when you get frustrated, that those negative voices, and what I mean by negative, any voices that go against your goals. Okay? Any voices that go against your goals. If you're going to school, right, and you know you got a test to pass, any voices that's going against that are negative voices, like telling you to stay up hella late and going to partying and drinking, knowing you got a test first thing in the morning. Those are negative voices at the moment. Now, if you're on vacation, you're right, in Cancun or something, staying up late, partying and drinking, it's not really a negative thing. That's what you came to do. Negative voices are literally lower nature voices that go against your purpose. And purposes can change. You know, as of right now, if you're cutting, your purpose is getting lean. Keep that in mind. It's all about, you know, perspective and perception. You know, what's negative for somebody else may not be negative for you. But it's obviously a negative voice if whatever voices are in your head are clearly going against your goals. And they're clearly going against goals that truly matter to you. Do not let those negative ass voices beat you, okay? 2, I just talked to you about internal voices. But keep in mind, we have external voices as well. I'm sure a lot of you heard the concept of as above, so below. But there's also as within, so without, right? So just like we have an internal voice in our head, there's external voices coming from other people. So don't let external voices beat you either. How many times have you cut? I've had this happen to me many times over the years. People tell you, what you cutting for? You're lean enough. Or, damn, you're getting kind of skinny. Are you all right? Right? Because sometimes you tend to look flat, especially if you're carb cycling. And there's times where I look like in a shirt especially, that I barely even lift. But once I get me some carbs in, I'm back repping, swell up overnight. You know, but the average person, like somebody like your mother, or somebody like a friend who doesn't even lift, that hasn't seen you in a while, isn't gonna, you know, understand what you got going on. And you gotta keep this in mind too. I learned this a long time ago. People tend to judge you based off their standards, which is one of many reasons why you shouldn't let people talk you out of your dreams. Some people try to talk you out of your dreams because they don't have the confidence to chase those dreams themselves. So they're judging you based off their standards. They're judging you based off their level of confidence. So just like we shouldn't let these internal negative voices beat us, do not let those external negative voices beat you. If you know your I know my standards. I know in my eyes, I know in my mind what I consider already. So if I'm cutting and somebody tells me you look good enough, but I know damn well what I want to look like. I got pictures in my phone of what I consider my best. I'm not, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing here. I wouldn't be waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning to do no fucking cardio when I could be laying in my bed. I wouldn't be tracking these macros. I wouldn't be training while I'm exhausted if I didn't want to do this shit. Common sense should tell you, if I'm putting my energy into this shit, I'm doing it because I want to do it. Naturally, people who are really into this lifestyle, I don't want to say we're out of touch with reality, but we live in our own world. And you got to embrace that. I embrace that I don't fit in with the average person. So, I just take it as a compliment. When somebody tells me, hey, you look lean enough, I just take it as a compliment and keep it moving. But I know for a fact, I know what my goals are. Just like you have some people that will be happy with like a few million in the bank, right? And then you got some people, they're not going to be happy until they reach that billion. You got to respect people's goals. Damn! I'm telling y'all guys, man. Speaking of cutting, Cuts FTS Fat Burner. Thermogenic, guys. Get this from TigerFitness.com. Support your brother. Get those Pump Chaser subs. Especially if your carbs are low, right? You're doing a lot of cardio. This is going to help you give you an energy boost. We got some great ingredients in here that you're going to absolutely love, okay? So, number 3, let's talk about external influences. And when I'm talking about external influences, I'm typically talking about external influences that can sabotage or throw you off your diet, that throw you off track. Keep in mind, a journey is a path, just like tracks on a train track. When you're on a diet, you're on a certain path. That's why when you cheat on your diet, we say, I got off track. You're like a train that's on tracks. They're invisible tracks, but they're still there. Don't let shit throw you off track, especially external influences. Perfect example. I personally believe in setting specific cheat days. Just like a house has a fence around it, you got to set boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries or some kind of gates, anything is going to come in or anything can go out. Energy works both ways. You got to put rules and laws on yourself, especially a guy like me. If I don't have any rules, I can be all over the place. I got to set rules and they got to make sense. So the point I'm trying to make is this. Let's say, for an example, you say, okay, I'm going to diet and I'm only going to have a cheat meal every Saturday. But let's say Wednesday pop up. You got a friend that's in town, right? And he wants to take you out to eat. Now, some of you guys might say it's not a big deal and do that. And I'm going to keep it real with you. There are some times where I do give in. I might have a friend in town I haven't seen in a while. Or Denise might hit me up and say, man, it's been a long day. Let's go get some sushi. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I give in. But when my cutting journey has a date attached, I don't give in. So I'm a little more lenient when my goals don't have a date attached. But if I know I got an expo coming up and I'm about to meet my supporters and we're going to take pictures. Pictures last forever. I still have people tagging me in pictures I took with them 6 years ago, like Throwback Thursday. Pictures last forever. That's a motto I live by. So I know I'm going to be somewhere and I'm taking pictures with people, especially if I'm not the one going to be able to edit them. It's different when you're taking your own pictures. You can twist the way you want. If it don't come out good, you don't got to use it. If I know I'm going to be in an environment where people are going to be taking pictures of me from different angles, I need to be on point. Right? So if my goals have a date, I don't care if my friend's in town. I don't care what's going on. We can go out to eat, but we're going to go somewhere where they have macro-friendly options. We're going to go to a restaurant where I can maybe get me a chicken breast, something like an eyeball, or a lean sirloin steak, right? Or if my fats are pretty high, get me a New York strip or something. Keep my veggies, keep my sides very simple, like just veggies only. Or a potato, something I can really eyeball so I can really stay on track. Because let me tell you this, just like can't nobody breathe for you. I love my daughter with every fiber in my body, but I can't breathe for her. That's some shit she gotta do for herself. And that's not it. There are several things in this world that other people just can't do for you, that you gotta do for your fucking self. And we all have our own assholes. We all have our own mouth. And what I put in my mouth ain't gonna make you shit, and vice versa. What you put in your mouth ain't gonna make me shit. You're my friend. You're my mother. You're my girlfriend. Are you gonna do that cardio for me? Can't nobody do that cardio for you. You eat some greasy ass cheap foods and have drinks and shit, that shit can set you back 2 or 3 days, maybe even more if you eat like a pig. You know, it doesn't make any sense to set yourself back purposely, especially when your goal has a date attached. When my goals have a date attached, that is it. Ain't nothing to talk about. Very similar to like a fight camp mindset that boxers have. You know, when my goals have a date, I know 3 weeks I'm gonna be somewhere or 4 weeks I'm gonna be somewhere, I act accordingly. So, number 3, don't let external influences throw you off your track. Okay? Don't let external influences fuck up your diet, because ain't nobody gonna do that cardio for you. And those feelings of frustration, ain't nobody gonna feel those feelings of frustration for you. You're gonna feel those feelings of frustration. You know, you're gonna hear those voices in your head. Ain't nobody gonna hear those voices in your head, those voices in your head telling you you're fucking up, telling you what the fuck are you doing, what were you thinking? Now you gotta do an extra hour of cardio. Now you sit back a few days, all for a temporary pleasure. Cheat meals, I love cheat meals, but let's call it what it is. Cheat meals are temporary pleasures, point blank period. You might have a cheat meal and it might take you 10 minutes to eat it, maybe 20 if you eat slow, but you're gonna spend an extra 3 days getting your weight back down. Do the numbers, do the math. Is that even worth it? Don't let external influences affect your shit. Stay on track. And number 4, one of my favorites, which is very important, don't rush the process. The body is a very intelligent, organic machine. What is a machine? A machine is basically something that has several parts and they all work to make that one thing work, just like a car. Your body is no different. We have organs. We have so many things working internally that get this one thing moving. The body is very smart. So don't try to rush the process, because the body's smarter than you, believe it or not. Okay? Don't rush the process. It always makes me laugh when somebody tells me, man, I'm going to Vegas in 4 weeks. You have any tips to get this weight off? And I'm no disrespect, but the guy should have started cutting 10 weeks out, maybe even 12 weeks. He's too fat. You know, to be as lean as he's trying to be for Vegas, he should have started 10 weeks out or 12 weeks out. Even if he was to do some type of starvation diet, he probably still wouldn't be lean enough. And to be real with you, I don't think most people should make themselves suffer that much. To be able to put yourself in a position to where you can do a suffering type of diet, you have a job to where you can work at home or something like that. Let me tell you, I've done those type of diets to where I've really did a starvation type diet to get lean really quick. But keep in mind, I train online clients from home and stuff, so if I'm feeling a little drained, I could take me a little nap or something. You know, if I'm feeling a little drained, take some pre-workout. You know, I have options. But if you know you got an 8-hour shift, you know you're a teacher, you know you drive trucks, you know you got you live a life where you gotta deal with people and you gotta engage with people, and you need to have a mental alertness. Don't put yourself on these starvation type diets. It's always best to do it nice and steady and controlled. So if your goal has a date attached, you're getting ready for a graduation, right, or a wedding, or a class reunion, some shit to where you want to look good for, be smart with yourself. You know, if you know you got 10 pounds to lose, a good rule of thumb is 8 to 10 weeks. A good rule of thumb for me is give yourself at least a week for every 2 pounds. To be honest with you, you might even need more than that. But give yourself at least a week for every 2 pounds. You know you got 20 pounds to lose, right? Give yourself 10 weeks, right? If you know you got 10 pounds to lose, give yourself 5 weeks. Because when you rush yourself, especially if we go back to number 1, when you get on that scale and you're not seeing the numbers you want to see, that's going to make you even more frustrated, because not only do you have a date attached to your goals, but you're rushing yourself. And when you're rushing yourself and you have a date attached and things are not going your way, it could really cause a lot of emotions in you that add stresses that you don't really need. Keep in mind, keep in mind that there's good stress, because stress is resistant. Sometimes we gotta push through stressful times in our life to level up and get to the next level. But I'm talking about these emotional stresses and bullshit that you don't need. The stress is gonna come in life. You can't avoid stress, but don't tax on unnecessary stresses that you don't even need. And one way to do that is rushing the process. So again, be honest with yourself. If you know you're on a fat side, give yourself enough time. And like I just said, 2 weeks for every pound is a good way to start, but I think you need even more than that. I think you should give yourself even more than that, because you might have weeks where you don't lose anything. So if you don't lose anything, now you're 2 pounds behind schedule. So to be honest with you, if you really can, try to give yourself more than that. You got 20 pounds to lose, instead of 10 weeks, maybe 15 weeks, just to be on the safe side. So there it is, guys. 4 things you need to stop doing when you're cutting. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, I got online macro-based coaching, fat loss meal plans, and high volume programs at beastmode316.com. And don't forget your gym equipment. Get your belts to protect your back, your wrist wraps to protect your wrist, and lifting straps for heavy pull days at pumpchasers.com. 10% off code is PUMP10. You already know. Get those Pump Chaser subs. Fuck with your boy. Fuck with your brother. We out here. Don't forget to like my shit. Comment, subscribe. Holla back at your motherfucking boy. Peace.
We need a moment of silence before we fuck up these weights.